Sagt die Gemara. Isha etzel baila loy boy seba. Ve'im isha chashuva hi tzricha seba. Sagt der Rashbam. Isha eina tzricha seba mipnei eimas baila ukfufa loy. Mefarish b'sheiltes der Ravachoi lav darkayu de noshi lemizga. It's not the derech of noshim to do a seva. So the Rosh over here says on the Rashbam. The Rosh over here says on this Rashbam that there's an afgemina between the time of the Rashbam and the time of the sheiltes. What's an afgemina? According to the time of the Rashbam, that noshim don't do a seva because they're kafuf to their husband, and that's only b'fnei baila. What if they're not b'fnei baila? Or an almana and grusha, so you have to do a seva. Shankin, according to the time of the sheiltais, lav darkaya the noshim lemizgi ever. Makes no difference, b'fnei baila, not b'fnei baila. So there's a nafgemina b'peil. There's a third pshat in the Gemara that the Ran says that the reason why noshim are potter of a seva. The Ran says this, and Rabbeinu Menoyach on the Rambam also brings this pshat that noshim are potter from a seva because they are being mishamish. Just a second, see if I can find it over here. Lefisha mishameshes labaila. She's busy serving her husband. She's mishameshes labaila, so she's torod in serving, so therefore she's potter from a seva. So let me try to understand something. Why would a person, let's start with the Rashbam. Why would a person that's kafuf to the Baal not be mechayiv to a seva? Fine, you kafuf. Kafuf, eimas, baila, kafuf, what is a mitzvah? Chayiv to do a mitzvah. Why isn't she chayiv to do the mitzvah just because she's kafuf to the Baal? What's the pshat in this Rashbam? The Ran that says that she's tarot. She's tarot in serving her husband. Okay, she's very busy, but if she's mechuyev to do a mitzvah, she has to sit down. How long does it take to eat matzah, to do a seva? She has to eat the matzah anyways. She has to drink the dal kaisis anyways. Elamai, it's a matter of whether she's going to do it on the run, she's going to do it like coming and going, or sitting and getting up and go, or she's going to sit and do a seva like a mensch. It's going to be a matter of another minute or 2 minutes. What's this tirde that patas from a seva? So l'chayre in the Rashbam, the pshat when the Rashbam says mipnei eimas bailo kfufaloi, the pshat is that because she has an eima of her baal and she's kfufaloi, so therefore it's not her derech. She doesn't feel comfortable to be meisiv in front of her baal. It's not the derech for her to be meisiv, which means that the same exact pshat that the sheilta says, that it's not the derech of Aisha to be meisiv, the Rashbam's pshat mipnei eimas baila kfufa is the same point, that it's not a derech of Aisha to be meisiv. The only difference is, why is it not the derech of an Isha to be meisiv? Is it not the derech of an Isha to be meisiv b'chlal? That's just not the way women sit. Or it's not the derech of a woman to be meisiv in front of her husband. But just the etzem inyan that she has the eimas bailo kfufaloi to pater from a seva, that itself, the etzem thing that she has the eima of her husband is not a sibba to pater from a seva. You have to get over the eima and do the mitzvah. But l'chayre the vart is because the eima makes it that it's not derech haseba for her in front of her husband. That's l'chayre the pshat in the Rashbam. She'enkein, according to the Ran that says that she's torud. She's torud, she's very busy. What's the pshat torud? So l'chayre, when it comes to torud, that she's shameshes actually, shameshes. Using the word torud, I think Rabbeinu Menoyach uses the word torud. When it comes to a person that's mishamesh, so l'chayri can be mefarish the Ran in two eifanim what he means. If you look into Rabbeinu Menoyach, so he explains that, I'll read you the lashon. You can look inside if you want. In Rabbeinu Menoyach, it's in the beginning of the line, Inami. Inami yesh lefarish, eino tzricha seiba, lefi shehitruda betikun ha'meichel va'achanosei. Bit different than the Ran. The Ran says she's busy serving her husband. He says she's busy in the kitchen. She's busy preparing the food. Patrua mea seiba. They patted her from a seva. K'moi shepatruah mitzvah seishas man grama. That's the reason why Noshim are potter from mitzvah seishas man grama, because you have other obligations in the house to take care of the bnei bayis. So what is he saying here? It's a p'tur. It's a p'tur. Which means, because you're tarod, there's really nothing, there's no svara really that your haseva that you do is not a haseva. Fine, you're tarod, but what if you're going to find the time and do the haseva? It's going to be a regular, good haseva, derech chayros, and you do the mitzvah. Elamai, afal pikein, because you're so tarod, placing on a person another oil that he has to do this mitzvah is something that is too much, and therefore Chacham decided to patur you. It's a p'tur. That's his lashon. P'tur. That's what it says in Rabbeinu Menoyach. In the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, however, it's mashma that the svara of tarud, to be potter from a seva, is the same svara why a isha that's kfufa would be potter from a seva. Which means just like an isha which is kafuf l'bayla. Why is she potter from a seva? Because if you're kafuf, it's not your derech to be mesiv. It's even when you are mesiv, it's not even b'chlal counted as derech chayros. Al derech is a person which is tarud, a person which is a waiter, a person which is a shamish. The Alter Rebbe says this l'gabi a shamish. And the same thing l'gabi a isha. If you accept the reason of the Ram that she's tarud because she has to prepare the food, it's not her derech to be mesiv. Tarud is another svara why it's not the derech to be mesiv. A person that his position is, or her position is, to be busy in the kitchen, when she is mesiv, it's weird. It's not the way a woman sits by a table, and it doesn't express any derech chaydos for her. It's not derech chaydos. That's not the way a woman expresses derech chaydos. Yeah, because she's true. As is mashman Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Feelings we'll get into soon. We'll get into feelings soon. It's negeva. Now, and chanami. But every person, look, how do you learn the pshat in the she'iltas? The she'iltas says, Lav darkayul the noshil mizga. I'm sitting in a reclining position. It looks like a melech. Doesn't matter. The noshim are not mesiv. It's not the way they show derech chayros. The svar of the Rashbam that she's kafuf is the same svar. Because she's kafuf, she doesn't do a seva in front of her husband. It's just not normal. And when she does it, it doesn't express any derech chayros. The question is what the pshat in tarud is. And over here I'm saying there's two ifanim. Rabbeinu Menoyach says the pshat in tarud is, it is derech chayros. Just because you're tarud, it doesn't change the seva that you do. Though it's derech chayros, still is a p'tur. Chacham pated you like Peter pated from mitzvah seishas man grama. Mashenkin, according to the Alter Rebbe, I'll show later mitzvah where you see this in the Alter Rebbe, tarud is a svara that it's not derech chayros. So now, if you learn like the pshat of Rabbeinu Menoyach,
how about a waiter?
Same thing, shamish. The Gemara Taka bring. Oh, that's a good question. So if you learn like the Ran, why is the isha potter and a shamish chayiv? That's a good question. The Talmud Rashba asks that question. I'm not going to answer it now, but the Talmud Rashba asks that. So, according to the Rabbeinu Menoyach's pshat, it comes out that the pshat of the Rashbam is closer to the she'iltais than to the Ran. Because both the Rashbam and the she'iltais hold that the point here is for a isha to do a seva, the haseva is not derech chaydos. The etzem haseva itself is just not derech chaydos. So what happens if a isha decides she wants to be extra from? She wants to do a seva anyways. Is there any point of her doing a seva? No, because it's not derech chaydos. You're not expressing anything by doing it. There's no point in being extra from. And according to the Ran, if you learn like Rabbeinu Menoyach that you tarud, what's the point that you tarud? It is derech chaydos. Elamai, they patted you. Special p'tur. So that's very different. It's a p'tur, but etzem it's derech chaydos. What if Isha decides she wants to do it anyways? By all means. Just like any other mitzvah seishas man grama, if Isha wants to be mekayim mitzvah seishas man grama, she could do the mitzvah, she can make a bracha. So over here is the well chacham taka patted you, but be'etzem it's derech chaydos. So Isha could do it if she wants. If she wants to be from and do it, there's an inyan. Mashenkin, according to the Rashbam and according to the she'iltais, there's no inyan to do it b'chlal. It's b'chlal not derech chaydos. There's no inyan for her to do something which is not derech chaydos. Unless she just doesn't want to look different than anyone else. Mashenkin, according to the Alter Rebbe, according to the Alter Rebbe, so even tarud is also not derech chaydos. Correct, but I'm saying according to Rabbeinu Menoyach's pshat, it comes out that the Rashbam and the She'iltis are much closer together. In a way, there's an afgemina between the Rashbam and the She'iltis. There's an afgemina lahalacha, when you get to an almana and grusha. That afgemina does not apply between the Rashbam and the Ran. Both the Rashbam and the Ran uses the lashon mishameshes labayla. So maybe that's only labayla. I mean, the Rabbeinu Menayach is mashma that has nothing to do with the bayla. It's b'chlal, the fact that she's busy in the kitchen. I'm not sure if the Ran was medayik dafka bayla, and if it's not bayla, and the Rabbeinu Menayach says it has nothing to do with bayla, I'm not sure about that. So could be that the same nafkamina that there is between the Ran and the She'iltis applies between the Rashbam and the She'iltis applies between the Rashbam and the Ran. Depends if it's the kitchen or the bayla. I don't know.
How do you compare it with Mangram? How do you want to know tefillin?
Okay, tefillin is a different story because of guf naki. But isha could be mekayim. It's machlekes rishonim. We paskin shulchan aruch. A isha could be mekayim any mitzvah seishas man grama with a bracha. Right? She can shake lulav, sit in the sukkah, and everything else. Tefillin is the only exception because of guf naki. Okay, so now pizeh. Let's look into the lashon of the Rashbam. All of the rishonim, the Rosh, the Paiskim, the Tur, everybody, without exception, says that the Rashbam's pshat and the She'iltis' pshat are two different pshatim, and that there's an afgemina b'payil between them, whether an almana and grush has to do a seva or not. Everybody says this, mamish without exception. But if you take a look into the actual lashon of the Rashbam, you'll see that the Rashbam writes the She'iltis as a hemshech to his own pshat. What's the lashon that the Rashbam says? Ishay netzucha seva mipnei emas baila ukfufaloi umefarish b'she'iltis ravachoy lav dakar denashi lemizgo. What does that look like? Rashbam is saying two pshatim or one pshat. Umefarish b'she'iltis. He's sort of explaining what he just said. It's a hemshech, not two different pshatim. If the Rashbam meant to say a separate pshat when he brought the she'iltis, why didn't the Rashbam say b'she'iltis pirish? And the she'iltis said a different pshat. Umefarish b'she'iltis is mashma that the she'iltis is a hemshech. So finally, after searching, I found that the Birkei Yosef, which is the Chidah, is medayik this in the Rashbam. He's medayik the lashon Rashbam that it's mashma that it's a hemshech, and he says the pshat is very poshut. First, the Rashbam tells you emas bailo kfufaloi. Because of that, that's what made it the derech that noshim shouldn't be mesiv. Because noshim are usually in their house and when they're eating, very often they're in front of bailim. They're their baal, and therefore they don't do a seva then. So therefore it became the derech of nashim never to be mesiv. So it's one hemshech. It's not two different shatim. That's the way the Birkei Yosef teaches the Rashbam. So there's no nafkamina here. There's no two shatim b'chlal. The Rashbam never meant to say dafke etzel baila, and it's actually meduyik in the Dibra Maschel because the Rashbam says isha in etzricha seva. The Rashbam takes out the words etzel baila. The Rashbam takes out those words. So it's mashma that the Rashbam holds the isha is never chayv to a seva. But it's not a raya. Not a raya, but I'm just saying it's mashmos. I mean, it takes out the words eitzel baila. Reiv Rishonim would not go as eitzel baila. At kedei kach, I think, forgot who it is. Yeah, the Maral that I made a copy of today says that eitzel baila is a toss. It's mamash a toss. It shouldn't be good in the Gemara. Okay, but the ma'aseh is, like I mentioned before, the fact is that all the Rishonim, starting with the Rosh, the Torah, Shulchan Aruch, Alter Rebbe, everybody is machalik this Rashbam into two. That's two different shatim. Mistama Roiv of the Rishonim didn't make a mistake. I mean, the Birkei Yosef has a nice diuk and it's a good shot, but the fact is all the Rishonim are machalik this Rashbam into two. So why does Rashbam write the two pshatim as a hemshech? So according to what I said before, Yashmokim Loimar, that the reason why the Rashbam writes it as a hemshech, even though it's two different pshatim, because there is a tzad hashava, there's a very strong tzad hashava between the Rashbam's pshat and the She'iltis' pshat. Both pshatim are making the point that haseva for a isha is not derech cheres. Haseva for a isha is not derech cheres. I should have mentioned this before. The Alter Rebbe, by the way, is meisiv this befeirish. The Alter Rebbe is meisiv in his lashon this vart befeirish. Ein derech noshim lahasev. Ve'ein zed derech cheres lahen. The Alter Rebbe is a safa. Ve'ein zed derech cheres lahen. Doesn't say it anywhere else in any other pskim. The Alter Rebbe is meisiv this befeirish. So there's a very strong tzad hashava between the She'iltis and the Rashbam. It's not derech cheres. There's no point of doing a seva anyways. As opposed to the Ran's pshat, if you learn like Rabbeinu Menoyach, as opposed to the Ran's pshat, which is that haseva for a isha befeirish is derech cheres, but they patted her. They patted her because she's taught it like with Sasesh's man grama. So the Rashbam, you can say, is bringing his pshat and the She'iltas' pshat in one hemshech, because these are two pshatim that are saying the same point, that there's no haseva by a isha because it's not derech chayros. As opposed to the other pshat that Rabbeinu Menayach and the Ran says, that there is a seva by a isha. And all the Gemara means to say is that they patted her. They patted her from doing that haseva, which beferish is derech chayros. Okay, now, B'negeya, so you can be meisif on this. I mean, it's not mukhrach at all, but stam as a l'chadudi. You can be meisif that l'chayra, this inyan, is taloi in the sicha. In two efanim that the Rebbe says B'negeya ta'aseva in the sicha. That chachamim pater a isha from a seva. It's a very big chiddush that Rabbeinu Menayach is saying. Chachamim pater the isha. They pater the isha from a seva. I mean, if it's not derech chayros, it's just not derech chayros. It didn't pater. It's b'mitzi. It's not derech chayros. Chachamim don't have to do anything. It's just not derech chayros. So when Chachamim made the takana of a seva to express chayros, they never made that takana for the isha in the first place. It's pashut not derech chayros. Mashiach, if you say they made a takana for everybody, including an isha, because that's derech chayros for her, but they pattered her. It's a very big chiddush. So l'chayri yeshleimar, if you learn that haseva is a din klali, that a person has to express derech chayros, chayav adam laharis, kilo atzim mitzrayim, he has to express derech chayros. That chiyuv of laharis, to show chayros, includes a seva, but is not limited to a seva. Not limited to a seva. The Alter Rebbe says that lefichach yasa adam. Let's listen again. Lefichach tzarich lasis kol ma'isa layla zed derech chayros. So if you learn a seva is a din klali, it's not only that a seva is a din klali. A seva being a din klali is really part of a bigger din klali. It's part of the whole din klali of chayav adam laharis atzma kilo yatzim mitzrayim. So if you learn that way, patering a isha from a seva, you're not taking away from her the general chiyuv of what a seva is about. A seva is a prat in kol ma'isa layla zeh derech chayros. So it's not the end of the world if Chachamim pater a isha from this particular way of expressing derech chayros. If there's other ways that she could express derech chayros, kol ma'isa layla zeh have to be derech chayros. Whatever that includes, I'm not going to get into it now, but kol ma'isa layla zeh includes everything. So this prat they pater her from. Not the end of the world. So I understand what Rabbeinu Menayach is saying. Masha'enkin, if you learn that a seva has nothing to do with the chayav adam laharis. It's not part of the din klali of chayav adam laharis. A seva is a t'nai in kiyum mitzvahs matzah. Chachamim said the weight, just like you have to eat a kazayis, it has to be done by seba. You have to drink a kais, a malay lugmav, or whatever it is, roiv kais, kala kais, you have to do it by seva. It's a prat and a t'nai, likuva, mitzvahs matzah. So what's the pshat? Chachamim decided to pater a isha. Why did they decide to pater an isha? Why did they change it? Over here, it's a much bigger chiddush to say that Chachamim took away that tnai b'negei isha. So therefore, the Rashbam and the She'ilta say, no, in pater isha. It's pashut b'mitzi, it's not derech chayros. It's pashut, not derech chayros. It never patered. Pashut isn't derech chayros. Okay, but it's not mochrach that it's totally in these two efanim in the sicha. I'm just connecting it because it could be connected. Okay. Anything else on Isha? One more point b'negei to Isha, which is an interesting thing that everybody talks about, and there's pulim that were written about this, and I think this is a davar apashat over here. The Payal Alter Rebbe passes b'negei to Isha, the Alter Rebbe brings the famous Ramah that says, Kol hanoshim shalonu chashuvesem. The b'zman hazeh, Isha chashuvas chayven haseva, and Kol hanoshim shalonu chashuvesem, and therefore you chayv to a seva. Noshim are chayven haseva. Then the Alter Rebbe says, Afal pikein le'nogu lahasiv. Why not? Because Yesh Eimrim, Rav Yah's opinion is that there's no Haseva B'zman Hazeh. That today, no, it's Ein Regilus Lahas of Klal Ba'artzis Alolo, Ela Afa Malachim Agdelim Yeshim Kedarkam, Val Devreim, Seimches HaNashim Achshav Shaloi Lahasiv. So the Nashim HaSeimech on this shitta that today you don't have to do a Haseva. So the Shail is, so why Dafka the Nashim Seimech on it, and not the men? So why isn't everybody Seimech on it? If we accept the opinion of Rav Yosef, let everybody accept it. If not, not. But if you look in the Alter Rebbe's Lashon, it's sort of mashman the Alter Rebbe. When Chachamim lechatchile made the takana of a seva, the takana of a seva did not apply to noshim. The takana of a seva, when they made it lechatchila, the chachamim chose something which they knew that expressing chayrus in this way is not for noshim, because noshim don't express chayrus this way. So the lechatchila made their takana in such a way that noshim weren't really included in the takana. Elamai then, but Isha Hashuva goes into the takana. For men, Chachamim made the takana. This is how a person expresses his chayrus. But Noshim be'etzem l'chatchila weren't included in the takana. So the fact that later, since it's pepayel not the meaning of people, but artzes halal to be meisiv, so therefore Noshim asaymich on that is not such a pella. Because the Chachamim when Chachamim made the gezerah, Chachamim didn't make, not gezerah, takana, they didn't make this takana for women, because it wasn't their derech lahasiv. So, when it comes to a zman that pepayel doing a seva does not express any derech chayros, so the nashim asaymich on that. But men that will lechatchila, the takana was made for them, so the fact that now ba'artzis halalu, it's not the minig lahasiv, it doesn't change. That doesn't change. Chachamim made the takana for the men. That's who the Chachamim made the takana for. Whether it's the derech, whether it's not the derech, that's who Chachamim made the takana for, and it doesn't change. Okay, there's more to be said about that, but let's leave it at that. Let's go to the next piece of the Gemara. Ben Eitzalaviv, Boy Yeseba. So what's the chiddush of the Gemara? What's the chiddush of Ben Eitzalaviv Boy Yeseba? Why would I think of Ben Eitzalaviv is not chayiv in a seva? Why not? So the Rashbam says, do they have a kof of kol kach? Chiddush is that a Ben is not so kof of. The Bach and the Maral both ask on this Rashbam that it's not true, but Mitzias it's not true. A Isha is less kofuf to her Baal than a Ben is to the father. Right or wrong? That's what the Rashbam. That's what the Bach and the Maral argue. A Ben is more kofuf to his father. You're thinking, no way, absolutely not. Well, depends which generation, depends what age. Okay. So apparently in the Gemara's times, the Isha was more kofuf. In the Bach's times, it already evolved, and a Ben was more, and the Isha wasn't so kofuf anymore, and now no one's kofuf. Yeah, okay, but as I stated on the Rashbam. So from this Rashbam, I see that the pshat in the Gemara of Ben Eitzalaviv, Boy Yeseba, what's the chiddush of the Gemara? I would have thought that a Ben is kofuf to his father. And because a Ben is kofuf to his father, it's not the derech of a Ben to do a save in front of his father, just like an Isha. Kamash Malon, that will have a kofuf kol kach. He's not so kofuf. He's not so kofuf. Which, by the way, means that he is kofuf to some degree. He is kofuf to some degree, but not kol kach. Not enough that he should be uncomfortable to do a seva, that it should not be derech chayros. That's Rashbam's pshat in this Gemara. So now, there's another big chiddush you see here from this Rashbam. Rashbam's shitta is, and this is a klolos. This is the heart of the sugi here. This is the klolos they're going to quote in the whole sugi. So listen closely. The Rashbam's shitta is kofuf is a stira to a seva. They do not go together. If you're kofuf and you feel uncomfortable doing a seva, then not that you pot it from a seva. There is no derech chayros b'chlal. What you're doing is not derech chayros. If you're not kofuf and you feel relaxed, then you could do a seva. If not, it's not derech chayros. That's the Rashbam's shitta. So the whole discussion of the Gemara is who's kofuf, who's not kofuf, how kofuf are. But if you're kofuf, there's no aseva. And l'chayra, the same inyan is benegeya to a shamish, by a shamish. Okay, by a shamish you could say that it's because he's torud, or because he's kofuf. Okay, we get to a shamish soon. Zok taisvis b'fnei rabbi ein tzarech aseva. This goes on the Gemara afterwards, but I mean, there's no such a line in our Gemara. I don't know where Taisus took this Dibra Mascha from. Nire the Oviv v'hu Rabbi Nami in Tzarech. A father that he's also his Rebbe doesn't need a seva. Dolegora me Rabbi Acher. Just like Rabbi, you don't need a seva, as the Gemara is about to say. So a father which is also his Rebbe also doesn't need a seva. Miu stam av v'lam l'vnei teira. Kedamrinim b'perikam de kedushin. Shah ben yorem yo'aviv yosem yimim p'nishim v'lam de teira. A filachikam b'pnei aviv tzarech haseva. A father b'derech klal does teach his son teira. So a stam father is a father that teaches his son teira. You hear? And Afal Pikain, the Gemara is saying that Aviv, Ben Eitzel Aviv, Boy Seba. That's it. Taisus doesn't, that's the end of it. And the way it says in the end of the Taisus here, this is the way it's paskin in the Tur, in Shulchan Aruch, in the Alter Rebbe. All the paskin basically paskin, like it says in the end of Taisus, a father that's also rabbi, yichayv to a seva. Father that's also rabbi is chayv to a seva. What's the pshat? Why taka? What's the reason? Who cares if he's your father? But he's also a rabbi, and rabbi is pot from a seva. How does the fact that he's your father change it? That's the svara that Taisus said in the beginning. What's the answer to the svara that Taisus said in the beginning? So all the poskim say, actually Rabbeinu Menayach says, the Magen Avram says, and the Alter Rebbe quotes in Shulchan Aruch, b'shem the Kolboy and the other Rishonim, Kolboy, the Avud Raham, that Stam Av is Meichel, his son, that he could do a seva. Even if he is rabbi, but Stam a father is Meichel, his son, that he could be able to do a seva. Huh? No.
He feels uncomfortable if it's not his derech.
No, that's Rashbam's pshat. Don't mix the Rashbam. That's the Rashbam's pshat, correct. Not in Taisus. In Taisus over here, the issue is it's not only your father, it's your Rebbe. So why could you do a seva? The answer is because Stam Av is Meichel Ibnoi. That's the answer. So according, yeah. Rav Shemochel al Kaveda Kaveda Mochel. The what? Okay, so here's the thing. Stam Av, this is something that the Maral says. Stam Av, there's no Isser to sit in front of a Av B'Aseva, in front of a father B'Aseva. There's no Isser whatsoever. Mitzat Kibud Av, Mitzat Meira Av, there's no Isser to sit in front of a father B'Aseva. There is in front of a Rebbe, but not in front of a father. It's different dinim. The din of Meira by a father, the din of Meira by a Rebbe is two different dinim. In front of a father, there's no Isser whatsoever. When the Gemara here says Ben Eitzel of Boy Yaseva, the pshat in the Gemara is not that the Gemara is being machadish, that although he has a mitzvah of kibbutz, you might have thought that it's also for him to sit by Yaseva, still he's allowed to. That's not the pshat in the Gemara, for sure not. It's either the pshat is either like the Rashbam, he's talking no isser, he has no chiyuv to not sit by Yaseva, but he still feels kafuf. That's what we would have thought. And the Kamash Malon is not kafuf kol kach. That's Rashbam's pshat. According to Taisvis and all the Paiskim, the Paskin like Taisvis, you could say that the pshat in the Gemara over here is Ben Eitzel Aviv Ba Yaseba, even though Stam father is a rabbi also. Umemele, why should he be mechuyev to do a seva in front of Stam Aviv, which is rabbi? Kamash Malam Ben Eitzel Aviv is chayev to do a seva because the father Mistama was Meichel. That's the pshat in the Gemara. One second, we'll get to that. Everything, one thing at a time. Ben Eitzel Aviv is chayiv to do a seva. The chiddush of the Gemara is that Stam Av is Meichel. That gufa is the chiddush of the Gemara. Okay. Okay, so if that's the chiddush of the Gemara, so then this whole inyan of kofuf has no mokim b'chlal. This whole inyan of kofuf that the Rashbam brings up has no mokim b'chlal. Doesn't say it in any of the Paiskim. None of the Paiskim bring up the inyan of kofuf. And when the Gemara brings up Isha, according to the She'iltais, which all the Paiskim paskin like the She'iltais, has nothing to do with kofuf. When the Gemara brings up Ben Eitzel Aviv, also has nothing to do with kofuf whatsoever. Nothing to do with kofuf. What's the chiddush of Ben Eitzel Aviv? Hagam, it's also his teacher, Kamash Malon, that Stam, a father, is meichel to his child. That's the only chiddush in the Gemara, but nothing to do with the din of kofuf. Why? Because kofuf is not pater from a seva. That's the shit of Taisus and all the Rishonim. And Alter Rebbe says it beferish in Shulchan Aruch. Come taste that you have over here, machlekes. What's the din when a person is kofuf? Would that take away the derech of your seva or not? The Rashbam holds if you're kofuf, there's no derech. Mashenkin, according to Taisvis, according to all the Paiskim, according to the Alter Rebbe, if you're kofuf, it doesn't take away the derech. Kofuf is not a stir of derech. Alter Rebbe says it beferish in Sif Yud Beis. When you get to a Shulya Denagri, which is the Hemshech of the Gemara, Shulya Denagri, the Gemara says, Ava Pishu Misyare Merabai Umechabdo Misharsai. You're taka afraid of him, you mechabed him and Mishar. Afal Pikain Tzarech Lahasiv. That's Alter Rebbe's shitta. Not like the Rashbam. The Rashbam holds if you're kafuf, there's no derech. The Alter Rebbe says, no, that's the whole chiddush here. Even though you're kafuf, You still chayav an Asiva because kofuf and Asiva are b'chlal not a stira. Second. Okay, so what's the pshat in this machlekes? What is the pshat in this machlekes? Whether kofuf is a stira to a seva or not. How do you learn such a machlekes, huh? What is the pshat? So here, l'chayra, the inyan of hergish comes in. L'chayra, here the inyan of the vart of hergish comes in. If the mitzvah, the takana of a seva is that you have to feel the derech chayros, and the mitzvah of a seva is to express the maaseh of the seva, the hergish that you have. So then, kofuf is a stira to that. A person that feels kofuf and doing the seva does not express any feeling of derech chayros that he has, so then it's a stira to the derech chayros. There is no derech chayros when you kofuf. If the whole derech chayros is a bitui of a hergish that a person has. If a seva is not a bitui of a hergish that the person has. Seva is a maaseh that shows chayros. The lashon that the Rambam says laharos. The Rebbe is medayik this in a few places. Laharos, not liros. There's chayav adam liros es atzmai. How do you view yourself? That's how do you emotionally feel about yourself? And then there's laharos, demonstrate. It's two totally different things. It's shinning in one letter, but it's a totally different thing. Laharos is you have to demonstrate chayros by a certain action you do. Doesn't matter how you feel about it or not. If it's a kind of action that shows chayros, so then you have to do that aseva, derech chayros. So even though you're kofuf, you're feeling kofuf and you feel strange doing what you're doing, doesn't matter. But this ma'aseh demonstrates derech chayros. So kofuf is b'chlal not a stira to derech chayros. That's the shitta of the Alter Rebbe, that's the shitta of the Rambam, and that's the shitta of Roiv of the Rishonim. Besides the Rashbam. I don't even know if there's anybody else besides the Rashbam that says this beferish. That kofuf is a stira to chayros, to derech chayros. I didn't find any Rishon that says like the Rashbam. The Rashbam is a das yochid in this inyan, that the idea of a seva is that you have to express derech chayros, a hergish that you have. And mele kofuf is the stira. Yama says the Rambam l'chayra learned the pshat. When I get to Ben Eitzel Aviv, I see that the Rambam learned the pshat like the Rashbam, because the Rambam puts Ben and Shamish together. Ben Eitzel Aviv v'Shamish b'fnei Rabbi tzrichen aseba. What's the connection between a Ben and a Shamish? What's the dimyon between them? If you learn that the inyan of a Shamish, the svara that he should have been potter is because he's torud, which I mentioned before, Rabbeinu Menayach says, so then a Ben is not torud. So what's the connection between Ben and a Shamish? If you learn that the chiddush by Ben is like Taisva says, that even though it's Stam Oviv, which is also Rabbi, that doesn't connect to Shamish. So where is the connection between Ben and Shamish that the Rambam puts them together? Ben Eitzel Aviv v'Hashamish b'fnei Rabbi tzrichen aseva. The only connection I can see between them is that Saya Ben to his father and Saya Shamish to his master are kofuf. They're both kofuf. Kamash Molah, that they both need a seva. So in the lashon of the Rambam, I see that he learned like the Rashbam, that what we're dealing with over here is the union of kofuf. But still, the Rambam is only saying this. I would have thought that kofuf is a stira to a seva, but poil the din is Ben Eitzel Aviv and Shamish b'fnei Rabbi tzrichen a seva, according to the Rambam. And this that we paskin that Isha eina tzricha seva, Isha is a separate category. Isha the Rambam doesn't put together with Ben and Shamish. Isha is not mitzat kofuf. Isha is a different reason. V'haraya the Rambam didn't put it together with Ben and Shamish. Think of because Isha is kofuf. She's not kofuf and Isha is kofuf. That's it. So the Rambam is saying Isha is kofuf ein letzricha seba. Ben Eitzel v'Shamish b'fnei Rabbi. They're both not kofuf. Maybe it could be. Kapanim. In the Rambam, there's epis hamashmos that it could be the Rambam learned like the Rashbam. I have no other way of explaining how the Rambam puts together Ben and Shamish. It's the only tzad hashava b'neihem. Okay. Huh? Because the only tzad hashava between a Ben and a Shamish is that they are both people that are kofuf to the person that they're sitting in front of. The Ben is kofuf to his father, and the Shamish is kofuf to his master. If I learn like any other pshat, then there's no tzad hashava between a Ben and a Shamish. Sagt die Gemara weiter, Iboyeluhu, Talmud Eitzel Rabbi Mai. What's the din by Talmud Eitzel Rabbi? So what's the pshat in the Gemara's Iboye? What is the Gemara's Iboye when you get to Talmud Eitzel Rabbi? It doesn't say in the Rashbam, it doesn't, what is the Gemara's suffix? So according to the Rashbam, Mokim Loimar, and I have no raya against this, that the Gemara is a hemshech. Just like when you get to Isha and Ben, what we're discussing is kafuf and not kafuf. So now the shayla is when you get to Talmud Eitzel Rabbi. How, to what degree is a Talmud kafuf in front of Rabbi? But it's a chiddush to learn this way, because when it comes to Talmud Eitzel Rabbi, there's another thing. By Talmud Eitzel Rabbi, it's actually also for a Talmud to be meisiv b'fnei Rabbi. Isha has no issa to be meisiv b'fnei Baila. A Ben has no issa to be meisiv b'fnei Aviv. So over there, I understand why the Rashbam had to introduce the concept of kafuf. But when you get to Talmud Eitzel Rabbi, the Rambam in Hilchas Talmud Torah brings it lahalacha. It's brought in Shulchan Aruch and Yeridei and Simei Reish Mem. A Talmud is not allowed to be meisiv b'fnei Rabbi, ever. Umemele, I understand why the Gemara has a shaila. I mean, I understand what the svara is to say that a Talmud shouldn't be allowed to do a seiv b'fnei Rabbi. I don't have to come on to the svara of kafuf. It's number one. Number two, all the Rishonim say, and that's the way the Alter Rebbe paskins, although there's machlokes about this, but Rov Rishonim say there's no difference between muvak and not muvak. Rabbi muvak and not muvak, there's no nafkamina b'neiam. If the svara, if you're going to say that according to the Rashbam, when it brings up Talmud Eitzel Rabbi, it's talking about how much is a Talmud kafuf l'Rabbi, you can't, it's not the same by every Rav. It depends if it's a Talmud muvak, if a person learns from somebody one line of Torah, if he learns from someone for a year, learns from someone for 10 years. Rabbi muvak is someone that he learns roiv chachmasem imenu. If you learn roiv chachmasem imenu, then you're much more kafuf than someone that you didn't learn roiv chachmasi from him. And this is a svara that some pais can bring up. How could you compare Talmud muvak to not Talmud muvak? And in the Gemara it's mashma that Rabbi muvak and Rabbi shein muvak is the same thing. So, l'chayre, even according to the Rashbam, when the Gemara brings the shaila of Talmud Eitzel Rabbi, we're not discussing anymore the shaila whether you're kafuf or not kafuf. So what is the suffix of the Gemara? If takir it's an isser. If takir is an isser to be meisiv, b'fnei Rabbi, kol hashana kula. So what is the suffix of the Gemara? So l'chayre, there should be an isser to be meisiv. There's an isser. What is the suffix of the Gemara? So l'chayre yesh loymar, according to what I said before, the svara that all the poskim say, that a father is minastam meichel to his son. That was the first thing that the Gemara said before. Ben Eitzel boy Yaseba. Why? Because a father is minastam meichel to his son. Now the shaila is Talmud Eitzel Rabbi. When it comes Pesach and the Talmud wants to be mekayim mitzvahs haseba, should we assume that Rabbi is mistam and meichel to his son or not? That's the Gemara shaila. Talmud Eitzel Rabbi boy Yaseba. Should we assume that the Rav is meichel or not? Why is he meichel? Why not? He wants the Talmud to be able to do mekayim mitzvahs haseba. Yeah? One second. So if that's the pshat in the Gemara, so how do you learn the Toshema here? What's the Toshema? What's the hemshech of the Gemara? Toshema, Omar Abaye, or Abaye, what's it say? The Omar Abaye, ki yavina beimar, zagina na birchid da dodi, ki yasina lebei Rav Yosef, amalon lo yitzrichso. Then when we came to Rav Yosef, he said, you don't have to do a seva. So what happened here in the Gemara? What's going on over here between Rabba and Rav Yosef? Rabba said that the Rabba allowed them to do a seva, and Rav Yosef did not allow them to do a seva. So the Pashtos, there's a machlokes between Rabba and Rav Yosef. Rabba holds Talmud b'fnei Rabba does not need a seva, and Rav Yosef holds you do. And that's what it says in Dargos Maimonides. In Dargos Maimonides it says b'feidish it's a machlokes between Rabba and Rav Yosef. And he says there, Rabbeinu Simcha said that Allah is like Rav Yosef. Right? Rabbeinu Simcha kaza plukta Rabba, and he actually, he says Allah ke Rabba. Passing like Rabba. Okay? That's one pshat in the Gemara. But another pshat in the Gemara is that they're not arguing b'chlal. There is no machlokes over here. So what happened over here? What is going on over here? So the Beis Yosef says that what happened over here is the Talmidim went ahead and did a seva. They didn't ask any questions. So it's Pesach. They did a seva. And Rabbi was quiet. Shosak. Because he was quiet, v'kivin shehu ha'yerayeh v'shaisik, havakin esinis rishos. So that the very fact he was quiet is rishos. So he was Michael. He was Michael. Then they came to Rav Yosef, and Rav Yosef was not Michael. Rav Yosef says, Lo tzrich yisur, Rav Yosef was not Michael. Huh? Or maybe he was Michael, but he said to them, I don't have to be Michael, so you don't have to do a seva. Okay, one second. So that's the way the Beis Yosef explains what happens over here. So I see right away from this Beis Yosef that L'kula alme talmid b'fnei rabbi without mechila is not allowed to do a seva. There's no machlokes here between Rabbi and Rav Yosef what the din talmid b'fnei rabbi without mechila would be. When the Gemara asked the boya talmid b'fnei rabbi, the Gemara is not asking any boya without mechila. Without mechila, why should a talmid b'fnei rabbi be allowed to do a seva? The shaila of the Gemara was, do you have mechila? By a talmid b'fnei rabbi, do you have mechila? So the Gemara brings from Rabbi that the talmidim did a seva in front of Rabbi, and he was quiet. He was quiet. So what's the pshat? What happened over here? So the Chak Yaakov explains this. The Chak Yaakov says, so 1 second. So what exactly happened? Who gave them the right to even start doing a seva? How did they do a seva in the first place? They did a seva, and only after they did a seva did they see that he was quiet, and then they knew that he was Michael. But l'chayda, they have to know in advance that he was Michael in order to do the seva. They can't rely on his mechila after the fact. So what's pshat? How does this mechila? So the Chak Yaakov says the pshat is that Rabbi's talmidim did not know the din. They didn't know the din. They didn't know that it's also for them to do a seva, so they did a seva anyways. Then, after the fact, they realized that they weren't over an Issa. Because they found out that they shouldn't have done a seva, they should have asked Rishus. But then they found out, like when you go without Rishus and they find you had Rishus, never. They went, so they just took action, they did what they wanted to do, they didn't know the din. And then after the fact, they find out that Rabbi was Shosak and it's a Mechila. That's the pshat that the Chak Yaakov says, which is a pella, I think. Who are these Talmidei Rabba? Some people from the street. Talmidei Rabba, Abaye, Rove, everybody else in Shas that's Talmidei Rabba. They didn't know they didn't push it. What? So they push it didn't know they didn't. So from the Gemara good. Okay, here. So l'chayra, according to the lashon of the Beis Yosef itself, in the lashon Gemara, l'chayra, you could say that the point over here is that they knew the din. They knew the din, and the din in their mind was that stam rabbi, a reb, just like a father b'stam is Michael, a rav is also Michael. Unless the Rav Beferish says, I'm not Michael, you say that Mistama he is Michael. If the Rav says Beferish that he's not Michael, then he's not Michael. But if he doesn't say anything, a Stam Rav is Beferish Michael. That's why they were Mason. And then it turned out that Rabbi was like a quiet and he played along with them, and which means that he was Michael. Then when they came to Rav Yosef, what happened by Rav Yosef? So Rav Yosef says, Lo tzrichisu. So what's the pshat in Lo tzrichisu? So you could touch it in Kamei Fanim. What the Pashto Pshat on Lo tzrichisu is, Rav Yosef is basically being Megala Das that he's not Michael. By telling them Lo tzrichisu, he's telling them that he's Megala Das that he's not Michael. Okay, there's a lot more I was planning on saying here, but due to the shortage of time, I'm trying to think what's the most important point I want to leave you off with. Didn't get to the Alter Rebbe, there's so much more to go at over here. Okay, so one more Nakuda. I'll leave you off with one more Nakuda where you see the two general shittas in the Sugya. What happens when a Rav is Michael? When a Rav is Michael, are you chayiv to do a seva, or is it just a hette to do a seva? So it's a machlekes ha-paiskim. The Beis Yosef and the Bach hold, when a Rav is Michael, it's only a hette to do a seva. Mashenk in the Alter Rebbe paskins like the Pri Chodosh that says that when a Rav is Michael, you're chayiv to do a seva. So this machlekes is l'shitosam l'chayre b'negeh to the earlier machlekes that I said. There's kof of pata you from a seva. If kof of patas you from a seva, so then even if you got a shus from your Rebbe to be mesiv, that's not necessarily going to be mechayiv you to be mesiv. Because a person could still say, I'm in front of my Rebbe and I have fear to be Mesav in front of my Rebbe. I'm uncomfortable to be Mesav in front of Rabbi Muvak, and therefore he's not going to be Chayiv to a Sev. It's only your Rishus to be Mesav. Mashenkin, the Alter Rebbe holds it, Kofuf is not a Ptur of a Seva. Haseva, the Chiyuv of a Seva is not the feeling, the Regesh. The feeling of a Seva is the action. Lahara is Derech Eirus. So just like the Alter Rebbe doesn't hold up the Musik of Kofuf, when a person is sitting in front of a rabbi and he has Yiras Rabbi, but if you got the Shus to do a Seva, he's going to be Chayiv to do a Seva. Chayiv to do a Seva. One more quick point? Anyone? One more quick point? There's a big machlekes Pesachim over here, beneged to Rabbi Muvak and not Rabbi Muvak. Reiv Pesachim hold that Rabbi Muvak is potter from there's no difference. Number two, there's a Taz here that talks about, does the Talmud have a chiyuv to ask Rishus? Maybe you should ask Rishus. It's Pesach. Maybe you should, if he gets a no, fine. But maybe you should be mechuyev to ask Rishus. So the Taz says he's not mechuyev to ask Rishus. What's the pshat? What's the vart over here? So here's the vart that here comes in this vart. What happens by a Talmud b'fnei Rabbi? Does he have the mitzvah of a seva? Elamai, we're pattering him because he can't do it? Or because he's a Talmud b'fnei Rabbi, lechatchila, the mitzvah of a seva doesn't apply to him b'chlal. If he has the mitzvah of a seva, elamai, we're pattering him because he can't do it, because he's in front of a rabbi, so there's an isser. So can't? You really can't? Ask. How do you know you can't? Ask. Maybe then there would be a chiyuv for him to ask. And maybe this that he can't is only by Rabbi Muvak. Maybe by Rabbi She'ena Muvak, he's still mechuyev to do a seva. There's a makkah to be mechalik. Mashenkin, if you learn that the pshat of Lifnei Rabbi, the chatchila, the whole chiyuv doesn't apply, it's not a ptur, not that he can't do it. Bifnei Rabbi l'chachamim never gave the takana. The chachamim are not getting into the place where there's an isser. Where there's an isser, they never made the takana. What do I have to ask? I don't have to try to get permission. Why should I make a hishtadlus to do a mitzvah which no one ever was machayev me to do? In this situation, when there's an isser, I have no reason to make a hishtadlus to try to do it.
Not altijd met mensen zoeken kan het weer.
Mamela.
Ben ik geared after this